pure experiences.
So, welcome to the meeting, and today's topic is happiness and freedom. Now, this topic is does not look like a spiritual topic. It looks like an ordinary topic, or at most self-help type of topic. But we are going to look at the topic from a bigger perspective, from a higher perspective, in the light of our current knowledge that we have gained through the teachings, the direct teachings of direct path or the path of knowledge. This is a frequently asked question that why are we here? Why are we alive? Why do we have this experience of life, this human life? And I'm not going to keep you guessing, and I'm going to give you the answer clearly and straightforward way. We are here to experience this world and using this body, and our goal has been already set. We don't need to even think about it. It is so clear that this is the purpose, and the goal is happiness and freedom. I wonder why people keep asking, why are we here? What is my goal? What do I need to do in my life? Actually, it has been already set. We don't need to do anything else except to experience the life and get as much happiness and as much freedom as possible while we are here. Now, usually it is very difficult to agree with such simple answers, because it looks like childish, but spiritual knowledge is mostly very very simple. It is right in front of our noses, and we don't look at it from that perspective. We are very very biased and conditioned. We overlook the obvious answer and look in some other direction. That's why people are always confused. They are always asking this question. Now, how do we know that this is really the goal, and how do we know that this is the goal for everyone, and how do we know that this is all is happening? Actually, I'm going to claim, I'll go ahead and claim that even if you try, you cannot set any other goal. This goal has been hard coded. This goal is the rule, actually. To get happiness and freedom is a natural law. We cannot bypass it, even if we try. So how is this even possible? We'll go there. We'll go step by step. So let us explore the goals of what exists using our divide and rule technique. Let us divide what is into four parts again, which is the world, the body, the ego, the mind, and the consciousness. Now we can exclude the consciousness, so there will be four parts. But let us include it for a while, because I think you already know that as soon as we talk about the self or the experiencer or the consciousness, and the ideas of goal, purpose, they stop making sense. They don't make sense there. They cannot be applied. So what is the purpose of the self or the consciousness? It has no purpose at all. Try finding it. You won't find it. It is just pure emptiness. It is just pure witness, experiencing whatever is being, whatever is happening, whatever is the experience. It says yes to everything. It actually does not say even yes to everything. It does not say no to anything. So perfectly neutral, very very pure, and it has no goals. What does it want? Nothing. And it has no directions. Where is it going? Nowhere. So you can find it out for yourself. Check it out. Pose the questions to the experiencer when you are introspecting. Find out where it is going. what is the goal, what is the purpose, and you will always get a silence. You won't even get a no or yes, anything. But from the point of view of the mind, we can simply conclude that no, these things, they don't make, these concepts, they don't make sense in case of the self. And roughly speaking, there is no goal, there is no purpose. It does not want happiness, it does not want freedom, it does not want anything at all. Why? Because it is already blissful, it is, infinite bliss already, and it is already free, infinitely free. There is no bondage there, there is no suffering there, there is no defect there. It is totally perfect. So obviously, that is what we can come up with. So we can leave that aside and start from the bottom of our experience, and that is the experience of the world. So what is the purpose of the world? What is the goal? Where is it going? And again, you will find that mostly purposeless. It's, you can roughly say that its purpose is to exist, is to be. Very, very simple purpose. There is nothing more. It does not want the world, the creation, the universe, any kind of universe, physical, non-physical, or anything, does not want to become anything else except to be. And the laws and those structures are a consequence of a simple change, a consequence of events happening in a certain manner. Then we can climb up to the level of body, and it is very easy to find out the purpose of the body, or the goal of the body. What is it trying to achieve? The only the purpose we see, the goal is to survive and to reproduce. Even not even reproduction, that is a partial thing, but survival is the growth, and survival is the primary goal of this body. All the processes in the body are running just to maintain the body, just to make it grow and keep it alive. That is the goal of the body. It is happy as soon as its needs are met, and after that there is no goal. Many people, they live at the level of the body, including some animals, that once the stomach is full, it is done, the life is done, nothing more to be done. If we climb up one more layer, the layer of the ego, you will find that it has, now the situation has become a little bit more complicated. Now we need to pay attention. So ego's purpose and ego's goals are multiple. First is obviously survival, but then it will be broken down in many parts, like protection, fighting, or running away, or gaining dominance, and obviously reproduction. That is the goal of the ego. Social dominance, social status, all these safety, security, all these things are in the goals of the ego. And mostly it is after pleasure, and it is avoiding pain, but that is not its primary goal. The primary goal is survival, and it goes one step ahead, many steps ahead of the body to achieve it. And we are very, very familiar with the goals of the ego, because majority of people, most part of our society, human beings, they are operating from ego, and that is what their life is: survival, reproduction, and running after pleasures, any pleasures that the ego puts before them, hangs before them like a carrot, and avoiding pain or punishment or any kind of discomfort. So these up to this is, everything is fine, everything is crystal clear, all the purposes and goals are well defined, and you will find that there is no room for there is no flexibility here, there is no room for change. And starting from the self, and there, you cannot change anything there. You cannot put another goal there, or you cannot remove anything from there. Same for the world, same for the ego, and same for the body. Try to assign another goal there, and you will find that it is unnatural, it does not last, it is even impossible. And up to here, everything is crystal clear. But jump up one more level and you will land in total confusion. That level is the level of the mind. Now, what does mind want? what what is it looking for? What is its purpose? What are the goals of the mind? What is the path that it's on? And suddenly this is a difficult question, because take a look around. Everybody is doing their own thing. Everybody has a different way of living, and everybody will agree that the body needs to be healthy, the body needs to be fit, the body needs to be happy. By happiness of the body, we mean it needs to be comfortable, free of pain, you know. And everybody agrees about the ego also. You need a healthy ego to survive. You need all those functionality in order to even function in this world. Otherwise, the body won't even move. So these are there is no doubt about it. There is no division. There is no difference of opinion about these things. But as soon as you encounter mind, now there are different opinions. There are different views. There are many philosophies. Big fat books were written about what are the purposes, what are the goals, how a human should conduct their lives, and all these things. So you'll find that the variety is mind-boggling. Every country, every culture, every continent, even every person has a different kind of purpose and goal. So does our observation fail here? Did my claim, was my claim faulty? I mean, was there an error in saying that the goal has been fixed for us humans? The goal is happiness and freedom. I boldly claim. Now I cannot find it. So let us take a look. Let us go to our direct observation. Put on your direct observation glasses and take a look. Can you find, the question is, can you find anyone? By anyone I mean a mind. Let's get rid of the bodies and the egos and self and everything. The minds. Can you find anyone who is not after happiness and freedom? This is the question. Any examples that you come up, anything in your life, in your experience, or you can ask around if you can find some people who are really not after happiness and freedom. They don't want happiness, they don't want freedom. And when you come up with an answer, again go into the depth. Try to see, don't listen to your own mind, don't listen to your own conditioning. Try to see what they are actually doing. So I've done that in my when I was looking for answers. I've done it myself, and it is an amazing adventure. It is a very good practice to check out what everybody is doing, and not only everyone. See what we are. I myself is doing. You yourself, what are you actually doing in your life? What goals and purposes do you usually take up? So let us take some examples just to show that this goal of happiness and freedom has been hardwired into all the humans. Not only humans, creatures that are lower than humans, creatures that are higher than humans. Things that you experience, the minds that you have experienced, and the minds you have never experienced, not experienced so far. Starting from an ant to humans, to gods, to even higher entities. They have only one goal. All the minds have only one goal. I mean, this sounds kind of universal law, actually, if you take a look at it. So take a common man, as an example. What does a common man want? Food, first thing, basic needs. Why? Is the food going to give him pain and suffering? No. The reason is happiness. The mind becomes happy when the body and the ego is satisfied. There is no other purpose to get the food. The person gets to live another day. This is the only thing they are after. They want partners, they want children, they want a big house, they want objects, and these things which we see they are running after, actually are only a means to gain happiness. The motivation behind all these things is happiness, not the thing itself. So we don't want food to eat food. We want food because it relieves us of suffering that hunger causes. It relieves us of the suffering that the desire to eat causes. Once the food is there, the desire is gone, and what remains is happiness. You can do this analysis for everything. Why do we need a house? To be happy, not to be not to live in the house. That is not the purpose of the house. Why do we want people around us, the loved ones? People are a means to get happiness. We don't want people. Now this will come as a shock. You don't want your mother, you don't want your father, you don't want your brothers, sisters, or wife, husbands, nothing. You want only happiness. It will come as a shock. Because ordinary people, they want all these things. They know they want it for happiness, but they don't go into the depth of it. If the same happiness came from somebody else, we switch. If the person, even if the closest one, stops giving us happiness, becomes a headache, we don't waste time before cutting that person off. So I was saying that a common man wants so many things, thousands of things, but you can always trace the motive behind it. The motive is happiness. They don't want things for the things themselves. They want the things because that is going to make them happy. Now let us go one step higher than a common man. Let us take the somebody who has already achieved everything, who has solved the life. The basic needs are done for such person, and not very concerned with people. Yes, they are after the feeling of the happiness. They are not after the things. You will see this when you take closer looks. Don't believe me. I mean, probably my experience is different. Check your own experience. Observe people very, very carefully. Seeker's job is to just observe, and the knowledge comes out of the observation. So I have done that, and I have observed myself also. That is the you will get the most knowledge if you study yourself. That will be that is easiest to do. So let us take somebody who is not a common man, who is who is a rich person, who has solved everything, fit body, healthy person, going through a good life, and check it out. What are they after? Most of them are after entertainment. They are spending their time entertaining themselves. Chapati and rice is boring now. Now they want 5-star meals every day. Why? What is coming out of that kind of diet? Same pile of organic matter we eat every day, but they are going to spend 5,000 rupees instead of 50 rupees on that. They are not ordinary, and we are not talking about ordinary people now. The so-called successful people who don't need to worry about the basic needs anymore. And the pleasure that it provides, the happiness that it provides. Now, instead of a scooter, a two-wheeler, they have four-wheeler, six-wheeler, or how many wheelers they want. And what is the need? What is the motivation? Again, happiness. Now, such a person, you will find not very good with relations. So they keep changing their relatives somehow. And what is the motivation again? To get more happiness, because the old people, and the old relatives, however good they are, not providing any more happiness. There are more opportunities there. So you will find they do that. Then study them. You will find they are after happiness. It is another matter that most of them don't get it. We are going to go there. Next point will be that how to get it. So miserably fail, but their goal is that all the actions of all the people are oriented towards happiness. Now let us go one more step in the hierarchy of humans, And let us take the example of people who are, not only they have solved their lives, they are not after stupid things like money or, show business or trying to show how rich and whatever they are. Let us take the people who are obsessed with power. Take the case of a politician. You will find the politicians are busy controlling people. They want more and more people, taking orders from them. They want to control everything. In other words, they want to rule everyone. The bigger area they are ruling, the more happy they are. People, gaining power over people, which is an egoic tendency, has become a mental tendency, and now it is a means of getting the happiness. They are happy because they can, exercise power over others. Commanding others gives them the necessary happiness. That is their goal. Take the case of military. Their happiness comes out of killing people. A soldier is happy when he has killed, the entire area. And when they bomb out the whole city, the celebration, you can see the celebration. They are very, very happy. So they, all the people who are trying to gain power over others, they are actually not after power. They are actually not after people. They are not happy killing others. They are after happiness that comes from doing that kind of action. Now let us climb one more step and take a look at the people we call, intellectual people. The artists, the writers, performers, even the engineers, scientists, philosophers, the people who use their mind for most of their activities. I'm putting all of them together. There are, many kinds, but it will take a lot of time to analyze them. So I'll leave it to you. You do the in-depth study about their behavior, and you will find that the artist will create not because the painting is, worth anything, only because it gives happiness. A singer will sing not because, it is a, source of income. For a singer, money is not that important. The singing is important. Why? Because the music is important. Why? Because that gives them the most pleasure, most happiness. And let us take explorers. You will say that people climbing the mountains, going to Antarctica, or going to Mars or Moon, they are crazy ones. They don't want happiness. The thing is, their happiness comes from that activity. They don't go there to check out the mountain. They go there because it makes them happy. The nature has posed those challenges. They want to conquer them. People who go into the jungles and study the tribes or animals or birds or butterflies, whatever, we think they're crazy because they are not doing what we are doing, so obviously they are crazy. But their happiness comes from their activities. Take one more step, no, I'm going step by step, but there is nobody's higher, nobody's lower. They are all equal. They are just different. So take one more step and check out the yogi, check out the jnani, check out the seekers, check out the spiritual teachers and the gurus and all those evolved people. They are after knowledge. Some are after more liberation, whatnot. Why? It makes them happy. There is no other purpose of gaining knowledge, but to become happy. And so on and so forth. And now, what about happiness? I think you will find that the case has been settled. But what about freedom? Why? How does the freedom? Why do I club them together, the happiness and freedom? You can do a similar analysis. Why is a common man doing a job? Isn't it slavery? Isn't it kind of bondage? And the thing is, if you kick him out of the job, he is not going to like it. Even if he curses the job, every day, a common man is not going to like it when you kick that man out of the job. Whatever thing they are doing in factory, producing something, or working in a field, or working in army, or whatever, they won't like it, even though it takes away their freedom. The thing is, if they don't do that, they will be even more miserable. At least the jobs, take a little bit of freedom but gives them something else in the return. So they take it up because they are more free there. There is a trade off. Take the case of somebody who is successful. Why do they spend money like mindlessly? They are exercising their freedom. They say, I'm rich, so why not? I'm not going to take my money and gold with me. I need to spend it here, and I'm free to do whatever I want with the money. Try to take away that freedom from that person. You see, put him under some law. No, you cannot spend more than this many, per day, and the happiness goes down for that person. That person becomes, uncomfortable. Suddenly, looks for more opportunities, looks for freedom. Probably will change the country. Probably will go and settle in a country where there is more freedom, no taxes, and go on doing this. More and more freedom is the way people function. Now you'll say, what is the freedom in singing? Where is the freedom in exploring jungles and places? What is the freedom in creating big machines, or doing that particle physics things? The thing is, try to take their freedom. Try to lock an artist in a room, in a golden room, maybe provide all the food and whatever the artist wants, but just tell him you cannot create, you cannot do your art thing, and his life is going to be miserable. Why? Because the freedom of expression has been taken away, which was their source of joy. Same thing with any explorer. When they're exploring, they're exercising their freedom. They want to be free to go anywhere they want. If there is a challenge, big mountain standing on their way, they climb it. That gives them the pleasure, that gives them the sense of achievement and happiness. We may think, they are crazy. Why don't they just sit at home and watch TV and eat like we are doing? But no, that life will be like a hell for an explorer. An explorer is happy outside, not inside. Does not want a home. Does not want to own things. Has nothing to do with people. Their lives are different. So you can extend it like this. And for a seeker, freedom is the most important goal in their life. Why are we seeking? Why are we gaining knowledge? We don't even think so much about happiness, but we want to be free. Of what? We want to be free from ignorance, because we very quickly, a seeker will realize that ignorance is what is keeping us under bondage. We are tied with the chains of ignorance, and the cure is knowledge. More knowledge we get, more free we become. So no matter what you do, you'll find the happiness and freedom is the goal. It is the universal rule. All humans, every creature is after this. We cannot do anything else. Try to do something which is not about happiness and freedom. You won't be able to do it. Just breathing is giving us happiness and freedom. A simple act of breathing. Try to do it at any level, except the level of the consciousness. The consciousness doesn't care about happiness or freedom. But every other thing that exists is going after happiness and freedom. Now, what is this thing called happiness? We have seen like this before. Happiness is a state of mind. It is a ground state of mind. When it is defined as a state, when the mind is free from all kinds of sufferings, when the mind is free from all kinds of desires and pains and anxieties and fears and everything. And when you clear all these things up, the remaining state, the ground state of the mind, is what we call as happiness. It is not like pleasure. Happiness is not pleasure. There is a big difference between pleasure and happiness. Why? Because happiness is very silent. It is like peaceful bliss. Pleasure is violent. It is an explosion of sensations and expressions. The opposite of pain is pleasure. The opposite of suffering is happiness. Happiness is not an opposite of pain. So it is a ground state. So you will find that pleasure comes and goes. Happiness, is longer lasting, as long as the suffering is not there. And we have seen that suffering is also a state of mind. It's very easy to get rid of suffering and become happy. Why? Because we are, that is the ground state of the mind, that is the basic state of the mind. Natural condition of the mind is happiness. And what is freedom? Freedom is an ability to make choices. Freedom is not the ability to do anything you want. It is not. Freedom is our ability to choose. So somebody says, I'm not free to do anything, and if you just let me do this and let me do that, and then I'll be free. And you will find that is not correct, because they have only 2 or 3 choices there to do one thing, or the second thing, or the third thing, not more than that. The choices are being limited by the knowledge they have. So freedom is not the ability to do whatever you want to do. No, it is the ability to choose from a wide range of choices. You have more freedom only when you have more choices. So if you have more things to do, that does not mean that you are free. That means that you are bound to those choices only. You cannot even think about anything else to do except those 2 or 3 options. That is not the freedom. And again, happiness is not about objects or people or achievements or whatever. Happiness is the ability of not wanting anything. Happiness is a peaceful state of mind where mind is content with what is, not wanting anything, not trying to get anything. You will find these deeper meanings of these very common terms which don't even look like spiritual terms if you pay attention to them, if you study them. So why is it even possible? Why is it like this? How is it even possible that these things are, the real meaning of these things is like this instead of the commonly accepted meanings? So take a look at your own mind. When were you most happy? And mostly the mind will throw you a memory where you got something. You got good food, partners, maybe achieved something big. Everybody really liked you, and everybody was proud of you, or you were buried under tons of gold, or whatever your wish was there. But if you take a deeper look, you will find that you were most happy because of the absence of that desire that was troubling you since years and years and years. There was a lack. The mind said you lack this. You went after that. You struggled to get it. When you got it, the desire was fulfilled, the lack was gone, and the mind returned to its ground state. That happiness was expressed as joy through the body and speech. This is the deeper talk. If you take a deeper look, if you observe deeply your own mind, you will find this is what happens. So let us take a simpler example. If you feel hungry, you will find that eating something you like will give you pleasure plus happiness. Why does that happen? And we incorrectly think that the food is the source of my happiness. Why? Because when I eat food, I become happy. I'm giving you a very, very basic example here. What happens is there is a hunger and the mind senses a lack, and there is a desire to eat, and that food is the means to kill that desire. You run after food, you struggle to get it, you cook it or whatever, steal it, kill people, whatever you do to get the food. Once the food is obtained, it is consumed, the desire is gone, and the lack is fulfilled, and the mind returns to its original state of which is exactly the same as the state that was before the hunger started, before the hunger appeared in the mind. So you can do this with everything, and you will find that happiness is a state of mind which is devoid of all the struggles. It is not something which you get from the objects or from the people. What you get from the objects and people is a temporary band-aid kind of thing which brings the mind, for a time being, brings the mind back to its natural state of happiness. Then, it does not stay there. There is, even not only sometimes seconds, minutes, or days, there is another desire, there is another need, there is another lack, and you run after it again. So, this is the perpetual thing that the mind is doing, and this is the goal of the mind, to get more of the happiness. Keep the lacks, keep filling the holes and the pits of lack, to keep fulfilling what it is lacking, to keep fulfilling the desires. And since the desires are endless, the happiness never lasts. Yes, you are right. No prolonged happiness. So, now why does the food, you take your favorite food. People have this misconception. No, I just need only 2 or 3 things and then I'll be happy. I give you, let us say you have magical ability to, summon the food whenever you want. And your favorite food is something, let's say. And get it in a second, because you have this power, this magical power. What will happen? You will be happy for a day. Then you'll be happy for a week, because then you don't have to do anything to get it. Whenever you want, your favorite food is here. And after a month, you will be, bored to death, because you're eating the same food again and again. And let us say your ability, goes wrong somewhere, and now you're getting the same food every minute, and your house is getting piled up with all the food. You cannot even eat it. Now suddenly this has become a suffering for you. The same thing which was a source of happiness has become a source of suffering. Now I've given you something, fairy tale example, but you can find it in daily life. Eat the same food every day, it becomes a suffering. It does not matter how nicely it was cooked. Do the same job every day. For example, you are an accountant or something with a very, very boring job, and in the end of the day, you need to add all those numbers, write it down somewhere, and the life has lost all its charm for such people who do the same job again and again and again. Same thing for the relations. You face the same person every day. Now, there's nothing new in that person, extremely boring. And if the person himself or herself is not, doing anything new every day, then, we lose interest very quickly. And the same person who was a source of joy or happiness becomes totally boring. And if they are not doing what you desire out of them, then they become a source of suffering also. Try it. Review your own life. You will find such examples. So why is it that objects and people, they become a source of who were a source of pleasure or joy or happiness, can turn into the source of pain or suffering, if it were true that the happiness comes from objects and people? So we see a contradiction here, and we are forced to conclude that the happiness cannot come from objects and people. There is no way you can get happiness from that. All you get is a temporary cure of the symptom, that is suffering. The disease is, never goes away. It comes back again and again and again. And now why is that? That is because we, as a mind, cannot get happiness. It is not possible to get happiness. Now that sounds like a very bad news, isn't it? Our goal has been hard-coded, hardwired in the existence to get happiness, and I am saying that, it is impossible to get the happiness. A very, very sad situation, isn't it? But the good news is, it is possible to get rid of suffering, and whatever remains is happiness. If you run after happiness, you will find that you will not get it. But simply clear the suffering, and you will be left with nothing but happiness. How many people understand this? Hardly anybody, In my life, I've never seen anybody who understands this, actually. Never. Some people who seem to understand this, but they're still in this, vicious circle of getting, trying. I have not seen even one person, it is surprising, to be honest. And I was myself like that, I was I was after happiness, I was after freedom through objects and people and worldly things, even intellectual things, even knowledge. No amount of knowledge will give you happiness. What a knowledge does is gives you freedom, and the freedom brings the necessary happiness. Freedom is a route to happiness, is the key to happiness. So, how to get the happiness? It is not possible. Don't even try. Get rid of the suffering. Get into the bottom of the suffering, what is causing the suffering, and get rid of it. It is very easy to get rid of suffering. You will always find the suffering comes from a lack, comes from a desire, comes from an ignorance. The ignorance is about something that I want something. I need to fulfill all my desires, let us say. Or I need this and only this particular thing to be happy. All this is ignorance. And ignorance is at the root of all the desires. Yeah, so thinking that you are a person and you're here to achieve something, get something which is called happiness, is the cause of suffering. We are not a person. We are not here to get happiness. It is impossible. The separate thing which we call as person cannot get this imaginary thing called happiness. And it's a big revealing thing for me, at least. After that, after I understood this, I stopped running after happiness. If it is there, okay. If it is not there, who cares? I'm not that.
Yes, and I think it's if I could just say something. I mean, it's the attitude that we have concerning like pleasure and lack. If there's no pleasure in it, and I'm sad, and if I'm not sad, there's pleasure in it. But it's the way that we look at things. Exactly, that we are not the person. Anything that has form is not us. So it's ignorance. It's ignorance that's keeping us from everything.
Yeah, ignorance is the root of suffering. So, and ignorance is built into the mind. Once this simple fact is realized, it's very simple that you cannot get happiness. It does not take a lot of intelligence. Also, it does not take a lot of seeking. It does not need any kriyas or yogas or whatever.
And I think if we start realizing that, first off, everything is happening, and nothing is at a standstill. So there will be happiness, there will be sadness, and everything is just happening as it is, and just see them for what they are, and not fight with anything. Just let them be. Then that will give us freedom, right?
Exactly. Very good point. Because we are searching for happiness in objects and people, and they are experiences. And the characteristic of any experience is that it is impermanent. It is not going to last. So by definition, no amount of fulfilling of desires is going to give you happiness, because it doesn't last. If you run after the means, these objects and people and achievements and whatever you're after, and you think that they are going to make you happy, then it is a law. It is 100% sure that you won't be happy, isn't it? And what everybody is doing, everybody is exactly doing the same thing. They're running after stuff. So it is ignorance. It is pure ignorance, and the almost whole of the humanity is under ignorance. So who is the happiest person? A person who has nothing, wants nothing, does nothing, needs nobody. It is exactly opposite to the concept people have that a happiest person is one who has everything, have all the riches of the world, owns few countries, rules over people, has 1,000 partners, has done this. They are most miserable people, actually. Go and check out. A child is the happiest mind in this world. Needs nothing at all. Yeah, when you are in deep sleep, you are in perfect bliss. There is nothing there. No, you don't own anything. You don't even own a body. You don't have any relations. And that is, the deep sleep is the, most perfect kind of happiness that you can come closest to. Now, these are, spiritual things. So, for an egoic mind, they will look like, exactly opposite of what their beliefs are. And they will say, oh, just sleep is the most boring thing. Watching a movie is the, makes me happy. And, going here and there and having parties. So you see how the Maya works here. The Maya will flip the truth exactly upside down, and keep the mind engaged there. This always you can use this rule to break the spell of Maya. Hack into it, just turn it upside down. So you go on, exploring, go on introspecting, go on finding, go after the truth, and you will find that everything a common man believes is exactly opposite of truth. They are in total ignorance. They choose to believe in lies, and that is why most of people are miserable. Now let's go to the subject of freedom. Now what we saw the happiness, you cannot get it. What about freedom? Can you get freedom? Yeah, that is the right answer. We cannot even become free. We cannot get freedom. We are already free. We need to realize that. The cause, again, is ignorance. The ignorance makes us think that we are bound. You can take any example, you see. I say, I cannot go to that place, I cannot go to that country, I cannot go here or there. Why? Because I don't have money, I don't have that. And the thing is, we don't need to go anywhere. This desire is producing the illusion of bondage. The body cannot go anywhere without all these things. Body is limited, and body is not free. It has no choice. And if you identify with the body, then obviously there is no freedom. No, I cannot live long. No, I cannot have a healthy body forever. I'm going to die. I'm not really free to live forever. If people say such things, they are identifying with the body and obviously not free. So if you try to live forever using a body, good luck. It's not possible. Same for the mind. Ego, it is not free. It will do exactly the same things. It is programmed to do. Millions of years of evolution has done its programming. Try to make it do something else, not possible. We are not free to not eat. We are not free to not become angry, become fearful. These are egoic activities. You will need to get rid of the ego in order to become free of that, and then you won't survive. There is no freedom there. Yeah, because we have all these piled up stuff on our consciousness. Step by step the freedom is taken away. So yes, Mukul is right. When there is body, there is limitation suddenly, and when the world appears, even more limitation, because the identification shifts to the lowest possible entity. When you give up all these things that are piled up, the layers of ignorance that have piled up on top of the self, then you'll find it is the most free thing there is. So how to become free? Realize that you are already free. Those who think they are free, they are really free. Those who think they are in bondage, they are really in bondage. It is very easy. Freedom is the easiest thing. More easy. It is easier than happiness. And the good news is, the bonus is that when you become free, the happiness follows. Happiness is a result of freedom. Freedom from desires.
And there's a peace that you feel knowing that things just are the way that they are, that you don't have to change things for it to be perfect because everything already is perfect.
Yeah. It's again a good point. We think that we need to change this one thing here, and then everything will be will fall in place, and then I'll be very very happy. I'll be free. Try doing it. Spend all your life fixing stuff, and it won't produce any result. You become free and happy only when you give up this struggle to change and things. So yes, it is kind of very very funny thing that we are taken for a ride by this force called Maya, and everything has been reversed for us. We are beings that are eternally free, eternally happy, already complete and perfect, and see what has happened thanks to ignorance. Now the whole journey, whole spiritual journey, whole seeking is going back. We go back to the home. We don't get happiness. We don't get freedom. What we get is we get rid of these beliefs, this ignorance that we are not happy or we are not free. you know, Seeking is not about getting something. Seeking is about losing. It is a negative process. It is subtracting. You do not become something. You unbecome what you have, become because of ignorance. It's kind of poetry, isn't it? Very beautiful. Very, very beautiful teaching. When you realize this, you stop. Right? Even the seeking will stop. The struggle will stop to get anything. What about the practical stuff now? You will, I said, don't do anything, and then you will be happy. Don't need to be free. You're perfect as you are. You're already free. Now what? Should I, not get up in the morning tomorrow? Should I not eat? I have a family. Shouldn't I work and take care of the children and whatever? I have enemies. Shouldn't I go and kill them? No. The thing is, when you are in a dream, the dream is real for you. Do not try to do patchwork of trying to fix stuff by giving up the stuff here in this dream. You need to get rid of the entire dream. And that is what we mean by not doing anything. You have already taken up a job of living as a separate individual in this dream virtual reality. Now can you fix it? It is impossible. It will come with all the pleasures and pains and happiness and sufferings. It is everything. It is not possible to fix it. It is not possible to become happy in a world while living in a world as a separate individual and a body and a mind. This is the game. Do you want to play the game or do you want to get out of it? Once you get out of it, you will get the happiness and the freedom. You cannot have both. How to get out of it while we are still living? Just realize that this is a game. Play it like a game. When you're not happy, don't worry about it. When you're not free, don't worry about it.
And nothing is personal.
There is no person at all. Who is going to worry if there is no person? These are just impermanent experiences that are flowing through you. Why worry? By worry, I mean, not give too much importance and be attached to it, not cling to it. Now, this is going to happen tomorrow. I'm going to wake up, I'm going to cook, I'm going to feel hungry, I'm going to run after my projects, jobs, things that I'm running after. And then what is the difference? What difference has this knowledge made? The only difference there will be is that all this activity, all this struggle will be happening on a background of peace and happiness, on a background of freedom, completely knowing that this is an illusory image of me doing all these things. That is the only difference. Nothing is going to change actually except your perspective. That is why most people don't get it.
The attitude changes. And the attitude changes, right? I mean, as simple as that may sound, it's your attitude of looking at things that changes, I suppose.
Yeah.
Instead of vacillating from hate to love, from sadness to happiness, and thinking of everything is not going your way. Well, for some, nothing. What is your way?
Yes. So only the way of looking at the things will change. The mind remains the same. The ego remains the same. Body remains the same. World is obviously same. What has happened is now there is a knowing in the mind that oh, doesn't matter. I don't need to do anything. This is the knowing. Let everything be the way it is, and then you go about your life doing whatever your conditioning says. Our programming, the mind is what? Mind is a bundle of memories, programs. It will do what it is programmed to do, and you let it do because this is an expression of the consciousness. What happens when once you have shown this light of knowledge on the mind, without your doing, without anybody doing anything, the mind will start changing. There will be long term changes. Sometimes it is sudden. For some people, the shock is sudden and they change the very next second. They realize things. But for most people, it takes a lifetime, probably more, to get out of this game, get out of the conditioning of the mind. And that is what we call liberation. That is what we call moksha or mukti. In the end, the one who is trying to be free is dissolved, gone. And what remains is pure happiness and freedom. Yes, so there are actions, but there is no actor. All my actions are happening. There is an imaginary thing that is doing it, but I am not really concerned. Now, these teachings are kind of advanced, up to happiness and freedom, right, fine. But if you go beyond that, then it starts becoming confusing. When people say, "Oh, if I don't take it seriously, I'm not concerned, I'll die." And then you need to grow up to that level to realize that the death is also an illusion. Why do you want to even live? Life is a bondage. Because life is a result of desires to experience. And this desire won't end instantly. It will go on and on and on and on for we don't know how much time. So, even an advanced seeker will stop here and it will look like a big wall. So the essence of the teaching is our hard-coded goals are happiness and freedom. We are always after them, but we cannot get them. Why? Because we are already that. And then you just stop doing the effort to get them, and then only you get them. And yes, when you put them in one line, it is very simple. It is only this much. Highly confusing. Teachers, gurus, sages, in the Buddha or anybody there, Ashtavakra or Vashisht, they write these things in one line, and then we don't understand what is going on. You will understand only if you check your experience, observe directly, and you'll understand. And it will be always paradoxical. We have gone through those meetings many times now. The spiritual knowledge is paradoxical. Mind cannot mix the higher knowledge with its own. So mind does its own thing, being illuminated by this higher knowledge. Then it's okay. Suddenly it's okay to take births. It's okay to do the acts. It's okay to be doer also. There is nothing wrong. As long as it is being done, it is happening under this total knowledge. So this was the talk on happiness and freedom. I think I took it a little bit seriously. So I no need to think too much. Do whatever makes you happy. And that is what I call as the path of the heart. Do what works. So any questions or any doubts or any comments on this topic? It looks like light topic, you see, but I highly recommend, introspecting and thinking about this, because it is very useful. It's very more useful than the constitution of the mind and the memory and the metaphysical stuff. And they are kind of academic things. This is useful stuff. This is the topic of happiness and freedom.
Yeah, it's the everyday. I think this is the everyday thing that we don't actually. The population doesn't even think about, but this is the everyday thing that we're looking at, that we're not actually focusing on, always looking for happiness outside of yourself instead of knowing that it's already there.
Yeah, so it is, a happiness, freedom thing is taken for granted. Oh yes, 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 I need these and these and these things to be happy, and I need to do such and such and such thing to be free, and I need to be here and there to be free, and then it is forgotten. Only a seeker, goes into the depth of stuff and finds out, and you'll find out that the truth is exactly opposite, as usual. So always remember the three states. What is constant in all the states? The self is constant, you see. Consciousness is the only one that does not change. So, yeah. Yeah, we have in India, Indians, they like symbols a lot. So, Om and all those states, they have been codified. People were told to remember them, and now they have become rituals and mindless repetitions. For on the path of knowledge, we don't do this. We don't do the symbolic stuff. We do it very directly. We just bombard knowledge on the seeker. No symbols, just direct. In 2 sentences, the knowledge is there. That's why I like it. It saves time, you see. Okay, then thank you very much. It's almost 11 today, and I'll meet you again in the next meeting with a new topic. Thank you very much for joining today. See you soon.
Pure experiences.
You were listening to Pure Experiences by Tharun Pradhan. For more, please visit pureexperiences.blogspot.in.